In today's video, I'm going to be sharing my list of the top cards that are $50 and under. And we've had a lot of price movement recently, a lot of cards dropping kind of into this $50 price range. And there's a ton of really great cards. Let's just jump into it. I think this list, honestly, is actually really great. And we're going to start off with the Zapdos from 151. This is an absolutely stunning card. Obviously, 151, extremely popular set. If you don't have this card in your collection, it is a great time to take a look at it right now. Current market price around $48, and it has dropped around 31% in the past 3 months. An absolutely stunning card. You get all 3 legendary birds, and this is my favorite artwork from 151 personally, so you know it had to make the list. And we'll take a look real quick at all of these cards just to see like more of their price movement over time, just so you can understand as well. A year ago, this was a $36 card. It has been as high as $70, and it's come back down just recently into the $50 price range. I think that this card personally should be much higher. The market disagrees with that, but it is what it is, and it just barely qualifies into our price range at $48. And then we have to jump back to Sword and Shield for a little bit. The Umbreon V from the Brilliant Stars Trainer Gallery. Now this card's actually up a little bit over the past 3 months. You can see it jumping up almost 7%. This one's current market price around $48. Now obviously all of the evolutions, very popular. And Brilliant Stars, a lot of Sword and Shield boxes are starting to get very expensive, and I think that that's why we're seeing this kind of buck the trend of a lot of singles are down right now, but we do have a few that are moving up, and I think that's due to the Sword and Shield boxes moving up in value. But a really nice trainer gallery from Brilliant Stars, the Umbreon V. So if you're looking for a nice Umbreon card with great artwork, you can pick this up around $48. And if we look at the chart, this has been in the past year as high as $57 and as low as $18. Obviously, this was before the big boom, so keep that in mind. A lot of this price movement coming more recently. So great card to add to your collection if you are an Evolution fan. And speaking of Evolutions, this card right here, this is currently at $49. Now, there are other V and V Max cards that we have talked about on the channel before of the original Evolutions, right? Your Flareon, your Vaporeon, and your Jolteon. This is one of the most stunning artworks that we've ever had, in my opinion. I absolutely love this card. Now, these are promos. And the other ones, the V and the V Max of the other evolutions, are more expensive. This is currently the cheapest one. It's the only one that technically qualifies for this list, but you should check out the other ones. They're like kind of in like the $60+ range. But this one, an absolute stunning card. I mean, it's easy to see why. Just look at the artwork. A great looking card. And this one has come down a little bit. It was not that long ago, it was above 50. But if we take a zoom out, you can see in the past year, it's been as high as 60 and as low as 31, 32 before the boom. So an absolute stunning promo card. One of the best we've ever had, honestly. So Jolteon had to make the list. It was an absolute no-brainer. Then we're going to go back to Brilliant Stars again for the Sylveon. If you're going to get the Umbreon, you need to get the Sylveon from Brilliant Stars Trainer Gallery. Obviously, Prismatic Evolution's releasing. I mean, we're in June now. It's kind of crazy to think that Prismatic released in January, but obviously a lot of evolution attention, evolution hype as well. Now this card is up as well, just a little, 2% in the past 3 months. So once again, nothing crazy, but this one is bucking the trend, because you'll see most of these singles have been dropping in price, but this one has come up a little bit. Like I said, that mostly has to do with all the Sword and Shield era boxes that are kind of still going crazy, if I'm being completely honest. This card has been as high as 47, and so it's come down a little bit. But really nice trainer gallery card once again as well. There's also VMAX versions of these. They're a little bit more expensive, so you can check those out. And then a no-brainer on the list as well. I feel like the $50 range, like we just talked about $20 cards recently, but the $50 range has so many no-brainer, just like, of course I'm going to put it on the list. Great artworks, but this is from Stellar Crown, and this is the Bulbasaur with the Pidgey about to interrupt his sunbathing. $47. So this one down 21%. it wasn't that long ago. This was well over 60, and now we're seeing it below 50. An absolute stunning card. Stellar Crown has a few great illustration rares, and this one just barely made the list at $47. So the Bulbasaur, definitely a must have. And it's coming off of a high right here of 67 was the high, the all-time high for the card. So it's come down and cooled off $20, which is quite a big drop, honestly here. So a great card for your collection, a must-have in my opinion. And now this one, I know I'm fudging the numbers here. We're fudging the numbers for the first time. This one's at $60, but I did think it was worth mentioning. You can see lowest listeds right here. It has been coming down at $53 on TCG Player, so maybe you might be able to squeak something out, at $50, maybe on eBay as well. But worth at least checking out, because these cards obviously are a pair that go together. And we talked about the Charmander recently, but the Squirtle. So technically, it's above the price, but I had to include it. Not that long ago, it was at $70. So at 60, I violated my rule a little bit. But you can see this card has been as high as $80. And I do like, between the two, I think the Squirtle's a little bit more fun. But I do like the Bulbasaur a lot as well. So definitely worth mentioning there. So apologies for fudging the numbers. But back to Sword and Shield. Okay, Astral Radiance is a set that it's all of Sword and Shield, right? You can't just say, well, Astral is the only Sword and Shield set taking off, but Astral is moving with all the Sword and Shield, and this is one that I've been very vocal on in the past, and it is up since the last time we talked about it. It's around $40, but this is an alternate art card. Alternate art cards are difficult to pull. An alternate art card from a very expensive box from Astral Radiance, and this, if you haven't seen this card in person, this scan right here on TCG Player does not do it justice. This is an absolutely stunning card. So if you're a Gen 1 fan, even if Beedrill's not your favorite, consider taking a look. Definitely worth adding to your collection at $40, I think, for an alternate art. I still think undervalued, just in my opinion, but some Gen 1 bias maybe. So trying to acknowledge that. The collector side of me is like, this is too cheap of a card. This is a cool Beedrill card. I think it's an absolutely beautiful card. So that's why it had to make the list. And you can see it is up on the year 20%. It has been as low as $22, but then the boom happened. And we're pretty much kind of near that 1 year high for the Beedrill. So do keep in mind, but like I said, a lot of Sword and Shield stuff moving. So we will see prices on Sword and Shield singles be a little bit different than Scarlet and Violet currently. So just keep in mind that it's not exactly the same situation with those boxes becoming very expensive recently. Obviously, Scarlet and Violet box is moving as well, but not to the same extent that we're seeing Sword and Shield. And then another one that we have to talk about, Fusion Strike. Fusion Strike, the Celebi, legendary Pokemon. So might be fudging the numbers a little bit, right? We got market at 52, but you do have lowest listeds right here. You can't pick this up under 50. And it's just the same thing, right? Maybe Celebi's not as popular of a Pokemon, but Fusion Strike is insane. It's like nearing in. I feel like it's just a matter of time till Fusion Strike's at $1,000 per box, and that's just the reality of where the market's going when it comes to Sword and Shield. But this is an alternate art, extremely difficult card to pull from Fusion Strike at under $50, and Celebi being a legendary. I mean, come on. Once again, this is one of those ones that was a no-brainer when I started making this list. I was like, easy, got it. Celebi, pull it up from Fusion Strike. We'll pull up the chart here. It has been higher. It has been as high as 67. It was as low as 28, which honestly is criminally low in my opinion, before the boom. And then the boom that happened more recently in January, I think I liked seeing the card get a little bit more attention and get a little bit higher price, but it has, like I said, dropped back down to sub 50. So, but might be a good pickup time for the Celebi V. Really nice looking card. Then Ghastly from Temporal Forces. This one is down. Now, we didn't really get to talk about this one in the $20 card, 20 and under, because this one's at 35. But this one, obviously, there's so much hype and popularity for Haunter Ghastly and Gengar, you have a Scared Meowth. This is a really, really great illustration rare from Temporal Forces. And this is one that's down 35%. This was well over 50, and now we're at $35. So might be a good time to start looking at picking up cards like this as well. Maybe on this one you might be able to wait a little bit longer. Some of the illustration rares are kind of like maybe hold off a little bit on. It's tough to know exactly how the market's going to pan out, but maybe moving into the summertime we might see this one continue to drop with some of the other illustration rares, but you can see coming off a big high of 58. And in the past year, it's been as low as $20. That was obviously before the big boom market takeoff and everything. So keep that in mind. We may be seeing the floor here. Once again, it's kind of hard to tell exactly. But if I was a little bit more hesitant, it could be on this card. But at the same time, Gengar being so popular, it's kind of... Anyways, it has to make the list because obviously it's well under the $50. So when you choose to pick it up is up to you, but just keep in mind, like, I'm a little hesitant about it, if I'm being completely honest. But I don't know how much lower it's going to drop. I still feel like this is a very affordable price for a great looking card. And then we have to jump back to one of my favorite sets, Lost Origin. The Pikachu V. I've talked about this card as well. This one's at $45. This is from the Trainer Gallery. And this is one, so for me personally, I like this card. You have red in the background, and I like the pose that they chose for Pikachu. I think this is an absolutely stunning looking card. Now this one's down around 8% in the past 3 months, and you can see it was over $50 here, and now it's finally dropped back down under 50, so it could make the list here. And this is one where I would take this over the Surging Sparks special illustration rare personally. Art is obviously always a preference. This is just something that for me is more aesthetically pleasing, and I like this a bit more than the Chikachu with him showing his cheeks. I like this one much better for a Pikachu card. So this is a no-brainer for me, and same thing. Sword and Shield cards, the box is going crazy. I think a lot of these cards, a decent time to pick them up as they have dropped off of these highs and cooled off. So Pikachu V is a no-brainer as well. And then that brings me right into, I had to pick up the Raichu for the list from Paldea Evolved. Now this one just barely makes the list. $49 on the Raichu. It's not down that much in the past 3 months, just under 3%. If we zoom out to the 1 year, it has been higher. It was just at $57 at the beginning of the year. So since January, it's slowly dropped to just around the $49 mark. Before the boom, it was in the 30s. But obviously, Paldea Evolved, one of those sets that has been taking off as far as Scarlet and Violet goes. Booster boxes, at or near $300. And Raichu is a great illustration rare. There's also the Tyranitar from Paldea Evolved that should be on this list, and I did not pull it up, unfortunately. I don't know why I did not, but that should be on this list as well because that is a stunning looking card. I think that one's a little bit cheaper than this one. And actually, we'll just pull it up real quick while we have it here. We do have the technology to pull it up right here. So you're getting a bonus card. $42, and this one's down around 15%. The Tyranitar definitely deserves to be making the list. So obviously, really nice art. I like this one a lot as well. We don't need to go too in depth of this one, but I think it's self-explanatory of why I like it. So coming off of $50, coming off of a 1 year high, down into $42, so much more affordable now, but the Tyranitar should be on the list as well. And then this might be surprising for you guys, but hear me out. The Terapagos from Prismatic Evolutions, this one's down 32%. It wasn't that long ago. This was in the 70s, and now we're seeing it just barely below 50. Now, Prismatic Evolutions, packs are expensive. Everything's expensive. Pull rates, extremely difficult for specific SIRs. Now, Terapagos, I can understand why you would be hesitant to pick up a Terapagos card, and totally understandable. But, if you watch the new anime, the Pokemon Horizons, it's on Netflix if you want to check it out. Heavily featured. Heavily featured. Terapagos is. So, the Pokemon has grown on me from that aspect. And I do think that while some people might say this card's a little too busy, and I understand it. But I do think that this card pairs very well with the rainbow border. So just keep in mind that's why it's on the list. It's from Prismatic. It's a special illustration rare. It's under 50. So just keep that in mind. And it's dropped quite a bit recently. So that's why this card is on the list. I think it's a great pickup. Like I said, if you've watched the show, then you like Terapagos most likely. So just this is the Terapagos, and yeah, that's it. It's a prismatic card. Like I said, I can understand your hesitancy, and I can understand your hesitancy for this card as well. But same thing, Terapagos. Now between the two, I think I like this one a little bit better. But this is just kind of the same thing. This one's down pretty big, 40% in the past 3 months. It was at $75 back here. You can see a lot of copies available of this one, a lot less of this. So between the two, though, I think the prismatic one maybe will age better overall. I'm not certain, but art style, I do like this one more. But at $45, once again, if you like the new anime, then it's a pickup. Like I said, I can understand why people would pass on this one. So maybe a little bit more controversial for us older collectors. Totally get it. Just wanted to throw it out there. The rainbow borders do look nice on both of them. I don't think you can argue that there. I think they look great. So Terapagos making the list because I do like the Pokemon. It's just, if you watch the anime, they grow on you. The new ones grow on you. They really do. And Surging Sparks here making the list with the Hydreigon. Now this one just barely making the list. You can see market at 50.94, and I think we're fudging the numbers just barely by $1. So this is pretty much a $50 card. So we're going to call it 50 for the sake of the list. But this one's been hit hard. This one's down 41% just in the past 3 months. This was at $87 3 months ago. And you can see, obviously, we're coming off of, initial pre-release pricing around 120, went back down to 74, then up to 108. And now we're seeing an all-time low on this card, the Hydreigon. This is a really stunning card in person as well. I think the rainbow borders look cool on this one, but Surging Sparks has been coming down as far as sealed booster boxes have been going, and we're seeing more people rip it. So this one might be one where maybe you hold on a little bit longer, but definitely worth mentioning. The Hydreigon, I think it's a very nice looking card, so it had to be mentioned. And then we have the Walking Wake from Temporal Forces. Now, I get like Avatar with the glowiness of the forest here, and I wasn't the biggest fan of the variations of the legendary dogs when these first came out, but they've started to grow on me, and these are stunning in person. So Temporal Forces, this one's down 23%. It was $66. Now it's just barely making the list at 49. So the Walking Wake is worth checking out as well for Temporal. A lot of people like this set as the kind of the sleeper set of the era, and I do think it's a strong set. I kind of like Paradox a lot as well to kind of slot into that category, if I will. But this is obviously about singles, so Walking Wake just barely making the list. And then speaking of Paradox, okay, we have two cards from Paradox that are absolutely stunning that are kind of just barely making the price cut here, but the Altaria just dipping below 50. Back here it was $70 in March, and it's dropped around 30%. So that's what makes it make this list. You can see a lot of people pick this up during that TCG player sale. This one looks way better in person than the scan shows, obviously. But the Altaria, very nice looking card. I do like this one a lot. Just barely making the list. I like Paradox a lot. And speaking of Paradox, this is a super fun card if you don't have the Roaring Moon. Pokemon looks really cool, I think. And I like the Screamtails yelling. I think it's just a really fun card. But this one's been hit similarly as well. Down 33% from over 60 to $40. So $40 definitely affordable and definitely under that $50 mark, but worth checking out as well if you don't have this in your collection. It is down on the year overall around 40%. So this is one that I would like to see come back up in value, but just because I like this one a lot. But it's kind of one of those ones where I kind of understand why it's down just a little comparatively. So, but I just think it's just such a fun card, and the Jigglypuff, Screamtail, I don't know. it's self-explanatory as to why I like it, but yeah, the Roaring Moon. I like this card. It's got a special spot for me. And then I threw a newer card on here, the Volcanion from Journey Together. I just thought that this is kind of a cool looking SIR that definitely is well under the $50 mark at 37. Journey Together, kind of not the best set in my opinion. It's not horrible by any means, but there's just not a ton that really called to me personally. And this is one of those cards though where I don't know if I really like this Pokemon that much, but I think this art looks super cool. So this is a nice looking illustration rare just to round out the list, and then we're going to end the list very strong here. So if you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, first off. But we can't not talk about Crown Zenith. So Crown Zenith, the Leafeon at around $43. This card and the next card, I could see an easy argument of how this is a drastically better art than what we got in Prismatic Evolutions. And I totally would understand if you are in that camp. I kind of almost fall into that. I think that this is a really great looking card. $43 from the Galarian Gallery. So yeah, this card, let's see what the high has been on this one. Yeah, we're coming off of the 1 year high. It hasn't really hit over 50 in the past year. So holding pretty strong around 43. Obviously, Crown Zenith is an amazing set. And then the Glaceon is a little bit more affordable. This one's been down around 11% and around $37. So between these two, I could totally see if you prefer this art style over what they did for Prismatic for those SIRs. So that's why these ones made the list, because these are absolutely stunning. And I've mentioned these in other lists, and I'll probably continue to mention these in lists moving forward because they're such great cards, in my opinion. So hopefully we ended the video strong with two real bangers, in my opinion. But that's kind of where we're going to end this one off. Like I said earlier, if you guys are this far in the video, huge thanks. If you're not already subscribed, do yourself a favor and hit the subscribe button. We are slowly creeping towards that 20,000 subscriber goal, and there should be a giveaway video popping up here so you guys can enter that. We're giving away a ton of stuff. You have to be subscribed, but watch this video. It tells you exactly how to enter. That's all I have for this one, guys. I'll catch you in the next one, and remember, it was never a phase.